How many was it again? Hi everyone, in this video we're going to check out how frame rate works when shooting videos, and we're going to take a look at how to set up our cameras and also how to set up our video project in the video module. So let's go check it out. Okay, so we'll start from the very beginning with camera settings. Historically, back in the days of analog TV, there were two main video display formats, PAL and NTSC. These differed not only in their color encoding systems, but also in their picture frequency. NTSC was primarily used in North America, and PAL was standard in Europe. So nowadays we record everything digitally. And of course that's going to be a lot different from the analog ways we used to use. The rules are going to be different, but one thing that has stayed consistent is your frame rate. Now, frames per second, or FPS, is going to be very different depending on which video format standard you're going to be using. All right, so the frame rates for each region are actually the exact same as they were during the analog period. So for the NTSC standard, which is the American one, the frame rate is going to be 24 or 30 frames per second. And other frequencies are going to be multiples of 30. So 30, 60, 120, 240, etc. 24 frames per second is going to be used primarily for movies, and 30 frames per second is going to be for television or video. Now, on to PAL, PAL, which is the European standard. Frequencies are being used of 25 frames per second and its multiples, so 50, 100, 200, etc. A fun little fact, because of these different frequencies, movies that go into distribution in Europe may have slightly shorter running times than the same movies that go into distribution in the US. 1 frame per second of a movie can add up to several minutes in difference regarding the actual footage that you see. Now it's completely up to you which video format you prefer. It doesn't really matter, but just make sure that you adjust your video settings accordingly. For this video, we're going to be using the European format, PAL, so let's go see and let's go check out how that looks. In the video module, let's create a new project. And right up here, in addition to the resolution that we shot our video at and the resolution that we want the video to be at, let's choose the frames per second. Because I shot at 25 frames per second, I'm going to select 25, and that's it, we're done. So it's as simple as that. I have the exact same frame rate in my footage as I do in my video project, but many times it's actually much better to shoot at a higher frame rate. Now, why? The human eye sees movement at somewhere between 24 and 30 frames per second. While the human eye can see higher frame rates as a smoother motion, we see normal movement at 24 to 30 frames per second. So it often doesn't make sense to set your project to more than 24 or 25 frames per second. And this frame rate is going to give you the most cinematic effect. But if you do choose to shoot at a higher FPS, there is one clear advantage. You can actually slow down the footage while keeping a very smooth picture. If you add a video with 25 FPS to a project with the same frame rate and try and slow it down, the result is going to be unsmooth, choppy, and sort of jittery. And this is because each frame is going to take much longer to appear on screen, so the video shows at even fewer frames per second. And this makes movements appear choppy. However, if we have a video that was shot at 50 FPS or double the frame rate, we can also slow the video down to half the speed and the picture is going to appear nice and smooth. Slow motion increases with frame rate. So we can slow down 100 FPS at 25 FPS 4 times, 200 FPS 8 times, and so on. So if you want your videos to be in slow motion, always shoot your videos at a higher frame rate. Don't ever forget that. Now, if you don't plan to use slow motion, then we recommend shooting at 24, 25, or 30 frames per second. The files won't take up as much space, so your computer can process them faster, and the movement is going to look the most natural. Oh, and if you're shooting videos in manual mode, then we should discuss shutter speed because it's also based on frame rate. But that's another topic for another video, so we're not going to go into that in this one. However, if you're interested, please let us know in the comments below so we can have a look at it next time and dive deeper into that subject. The most important thing to remember with shutter speed is that for the most natural looking result, we're going to set our shutter speed to 1 or 2 times the actual frame rate. That's all about frame rate in this video. As we mentioned before, if you guys are interested in a little bit more in-depth video about this, let us know in the comments below so we know what to make next time. Until then, give us a thumbs up, subscribe so you never miss another video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.